My name's Alwyn Young. We're contractors from Castlederg. We're currently down in Donegal. This is outside, you can say outside Lifford. It's a farm of our own, and you can see it's the main Letterkenny road from Lifford to Letterkenny. Contracting for me, I grew up. For Dad was at it. Dad was at it ever since he left school. So contracting was a way of life for us. So we're no younger. We were always out along with him, and so Dad's pension age. He's getting the bus pass, so he would sort of be taking a back seat more so, and that's how I've really took the business over. We got the demo, and that was wet. It was wet, and I think the grass was maybe a month overdue of cutting. Conditions at that time was anything but good. It was 3 years ago, and the Krone fella I think his name was Declan, that came. He brought it on a lorry. It was a wet day whenever he come, and he put the harvester into the shade, and he more or less he went through the harvester and showed us how the reel came off, how the feed rollers came off, how to set knives, what to do, what you need to know in the field, just for us to see how easy it was to maintain or what to do to it when we needed, to get things done. And he left it there that night. The next morning we went to grass. Declan, he came along with us, and he stayed more or less the full of the next day. And we've seen from that then, from ground being wet and from rows being heavy and lumpy, we're fit to see then that the Krone was better on things like that. So that is hence the reason why we put our harvester on the biggest tyres that we can get. For ground conditions in our area is just not, they do be wetly. First of all, the Krone, because our ground being wetter, we're that far west, the Krone is able to put on bigger tyres, wider tyres, and it's still within the same width as my previous harvester, and it means definitely I travel ground better, do less damage to the ground. A lot of my farmers, when they can, they would ted the grass and ted it themselves, and because of the conditions, we don't get drying at times doesn't be no good. Whenever that's rolled up again, tedded, wettish grass would tend to be lumpy, and we were getting baller with the previous harvester with accelerator braking because of the lumpy rows was causing problems. No longer an issue. The harvester will handle the lumps a lot better for us too. Never ever choked it with grass, never. Generally, whatever goes in the front of the reel goes on in. You have the six feed rollers. 6 feed rollers for lumps makes it feed better and a lot smoother. Plus, your metal detector is a good bit further away at the front from your drum. So if you do get a metal detection, you have that much more of a distance before it will do harm to get to the drum, if you know. Well, to take off the feed rollers, there's no spanners. You don't need a spanner. The pickup reel, press a button on 4 quick release pipes and press a button inside, and that's the reel off. Everything's fierce quick and handy. The drum, the previous harvester, the hangers that the knife sat on the drum, they tend to wear, whereas on the Krone harvester that's all replaceable, and your knife will not break off and get free if you do lift something hard. It sort of sits, your knife sits within a, how would you say, a slot. So whereas the other one would have sat on top and it can get breaking off. As of yet, we have not lost a knife on the harvester. And rear suspension, I would find nearly the biggest help for myself. I would have a sore back. I would get ground farmers that makes ground ready. That's because of the weather. It's a rush job. Get it ploughed, get it sowed, and maybe I'd want another run or so the land leveler to level it. Ground would be getting rougher, but with the rear suspension and the harvester, you would not feel that. You would not be sore, definitely, coming out of the harvester on a day. Look, you can adjust your accelerator on the move on this one. You can get a stronger blow. For instance, if you were going around a wet spot and your tiller had to be more away from you, you can adjust your blow up to get the tiller. was it like small fields? Oh, a superior lock in the steering. The turning angle you can get turned around is a lot easier to turn. We lift mainly 30-foot rows, but as we go up, we can turn right around and get back down again. Whereas my older harvester, you could with if you sort of give yourself a wee bit of room and then get down again. But no bother to this, you'll get turned down. And as all the wheels are oil driven, the previous harvester, whenever you turned around sharp with the back steer, and you turn around, the inside wheel would tend to grip the ground and lift the sods, whereas this knows the angle of the steering, and it cuts the oil off the inner wheel and lets the other keep it from lifting the sods out of the ground. So we would find less damage in turning, especially if you're turning around sharp and turning uphill. You'd find far less damage under the ground. Kevin McGee was the salesman or the dealer, and first class. Any time of day, any time of night, any day of the week, doesn't matter. Ring him. Not too often we needed him, but it's more for chit chat nearly. So, but never, not a problem. And his mechanics there, never an issue. Anything that you ever ask, or they'll find out for you, or everything first class. This is my third season. Yes, knives, oils and filters. Not a single wear plate. Well, a few tines, yes. No shear bar, not even a sharpening stone. Just knives, tines, oil and filters, and that is it. If somebody asked me if they were to move away from their own harvester and move to a Krone, what would be their main advantages? The main advantage, look, intake, lumpy grass. These farmers heading it, and not getting dried. Surely, yes, a nice, light, fluffy, dried out row is not a problem to none. Intake, manoeuvrability, quietness in the cab, smoothness, rear suspension, your 6 feed rollers. On the move, you can set your chop length and set the speed of your reel on the move. On a day-to-day basis, there's the chains on the side of the pickup reel. Oil them. They just may not get oiled every day, but they get every other day or whatever. But there's no greasing. It's not every morning out where a grease going. So it's not.